This week we're making our Game Award predictions, reviewing Dispatch and sharing our thoughts on Black Ops 7. Then we're celebrating 20 years of the Xbox 360, remembering why it ruled and what made it so special. And in this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, we're completing the trilogy as we're naming the best Nintendo exclusive game. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents Podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents Podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kelvin, and today I am joined by the bearded one, Scott, the tastemaker Curry. How are we, Scott?
Very well. That is indeed me. I am the tastemaker. I am Scott Curry. And I'm also melting from the outside in. The heating has been on. It feels like non-stop since the weather changed, and I'm dying, Liam. I'm fucking dying. I'm ready to just give up.
It's I'm in the orchestrating period where you're just trying to get the sweet spot. You know what I mean? Right now it's the Goldilocks. Too much, too little, all that stuff. And obviously just trying to get the timers just right. That's the thing. That's a new game that I've been playing this week.
It's true, though.
Absolutely fucking Baltic though. It's definitely, if you could, you would just hibernate or just take the winter off and just sit on your ass and play games. But unfortunately, we can't do that. Wish we could, though. I sit and think about that every day. Why can't we?
Why can't
It's too
we?
hard.
It'd be too easy.
Oh,
Life would be too easy if you could just sit down and fucking fanny about all day.
Yeah, you want some challenge. You know what I mean? But yeah, how has your week been? Good?
It's been good, actually, aye. It's uneventful, I'd probably say, more than anything else. There's been nothing really going on, I don't really think. It feels like I've been busy but not busy, at all. But no, genuinely nothing to report. It's, as you'll get to later on, it's been one of those weeks where I've not really had much on in terms of games as well. Like, I've just been falling back on old favourites and very old favourites. But you're going to be one carrying the load this week with new games and discussing all things tasty new video games. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I've been a busy bee this week. Busy bee, as we go into the Christmas season. I have to say, it still feels too early to have Christmas music on.
I'm there, Liam. I'm so sorry. The moment I hear the chimes of the bells at the beginning of Band-Aid, I am fucking gone. Like, Christmas might as well be tomorrow, because that is possibly up there with my favourite Christmas song. Like, I love Band-Aid. I'm a big stickler for Please Come Home for Christmas by the Eagles. I have to listen to that almost every day. Step Into Christmas as well, Elton John.
Classic.
Fucking love it. And yeah, I like Burt Hive's Holly Jolly Christmas as well.
Right, okay.
Because it sounds like he can't be arsed singing it. Like, as he goes through it, it's just like he can't be bothered. I fucking love Christmas. I love Christmas. I love Christmas music, and I'm all in on it. I really am.
I love it, but it's I like to keep things pure and just keep it for December.
No,
you know what I mean. I'm on the Advent calendar myself, so I'm just thinking to myself, like, keep it for December so I don't get too sick of it. That's the aim, but I'm failing at it because that's the joy of being back in office. Like, the radio's on, and they have been blaring that all week. Like, Mariah she's off ice. All bets are off. That's it. I've heard it far too many times already. It's not even bloody December. Anyway, I digress. As you mentioned off the top, it's been a busy week. I've had a good week, as we're going to find out, with lots of games, getting stuff off the plate here, and making progress, Scott. I feel a little bit freer than what I did last week, which is great. I feel like I've got lots of options, so we'll get into it. But before we do, let's just get some housekeeping out the road. So, for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, the weekly podcast by parents who game. For those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming whilst raising little ones. Now, Every Friday, you can listen to See Your Old Dads Talk video games on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe to us on YouTube if you're not there already, so you don't miss our mugs. And if you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello and share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Finally, if you want to support the show, join our free Patreon so you don't miss an episode, chat with the community, and get bonus shows all for free at patreon.com/pixelparents. If you're not there, just leave a wee 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice. Share it online with your friends. Whatever you choose to do, it really does help us out. So, of course, thank you to everyone that joins us each and every week.
Can I interrupt before you go ahead with this? Just because you've mentioned the word Patreon, it reminded me. I have recorded 2 side quests with Scott that have had two different issues that have prevented me from saving them. The first one, I couldn't remember what chapter I needed to do. So I couldn't remember if it was chapter 4 or 5. So I saved it to a draft, but the video deleted. So I was like, well, fuck it, it's gone. It's in the ether now. I'm done. And then the other day I filmed one when I was out walking the dog. So she was playing with the ball. And I was like, I'll just record a quick 5-6 minute thing. I went back to listen to it and it had no sound. So I was like, the world is just telling me that these are not the topics that I should be discussing. So I promise I will get one out there. I'll fart one out for everyone.
But if people are wanting to check out stuff in the meantime, we do have the first episode of the patch notes up there as well, where we're talking about Making a Games podcast, and as well, the next one we have, which is our bi-monthly bonus special, which is a sister show to that, which will be Pixel Parents Presents Pixel Pinfalls, which I must say, I've not seen Scott more enthusiastic for making a show than this. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table on this one. More on that. And all you have to do is just join Patreon and you'll find out. It could be an absolute disaster. If not, it's a bonus. So yeah, it should be good fun. But yeah, Scott, as I mentioned, busy bee. I'm going to kick things off what I've been playing this week is a wee change. But I promised last week, I promised over the past few weeks I'll come in with the verdict, and I can now safely say I have beaten Dispatch. All episodes done, finito. And right off the bat, I'm going to be giving this a big juicy 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
Quite a high praise indeed. At first, I wasn't going to play it. You know, I was feeling like a lot of people quite bummed out by the whole episodic Telltale style games. But I really am glad that I hopped in on this one. You know, ended up in the end walking away feeling like this has been one of the best narrative experiences this year by a country mile. Really has been absolutely superb. You know, I think Atok have created a rich and textured superhero world that I appreciate. One that does wear its influences on its sleeve. You know, little send-ups of more popular heroes, for example, out and about there. You know, you've got like their version of Superman, etc., their version of Hydro Man, but it's all just a little bit amplified, which is good fun. But it doesn't go turbo try-hard category in terms of, you know, this world where it's post The Boys, this Deadpoolification of everything, where it has to be that level of cringe persists. But Dispatch balances out with some real heart. You know, I think they managed to strike the balance there between the edgy and the genuinely sincere. And I think it's as good as any superhero romp out there just now, you know, and it's been a pretty good year for superhero stuff, I'd have to say, back on form. But this coming out of the blue has just been such a genuine delight. You know, I think gameplay-wise, the game is going to have you making choices as you'd expect with Telltale. You know, you're going to do that to progress the story, and they're always good. Felt all the way through all that 8-episode run, you're going to have lots of good choices put in front of you. But I did find them to be too few, which I suppose is a bit of a backhanded compliment that I wanted more of them, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the episodes in the middle did feel a little bit more like episodes of TV. And the Dispatch section itself, that did kind of feel at points midway through that they were just sandwiched in there to make it feel like a game. You know, it's a wee bit love-hate. So that system, I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. I feel like, you know, the system was basically how you're assigning heroes based on the requirements of the job, and you send them out across the map to come back, and it's just a little, you know, mini game of sorts effectively that you have to get through. And I felt that could have been fleshed out more in terms of the requirements themselves based on the attributes. Just, I don't know. I just, every now and then I was like, I'm not quite sure. I think I know what vigor means. I'm not too sure and all that. But I think what it did do is it just created more opportunity for some good banter and dialogue, which is the main attraction. You want to kind of hear the characters, and they made the sections feel worthwhile to me. You know, even if I was just kind of wanting to get them at the road at points just to get to the next story beat, again, backhanded compliment there, and that all comes down to the performances, Scott. You know, Laura Bailey, for example, shines here, as does Aaron Paul, who I really do think he deserves some flowers. You know, they two are absolute heavyweight talents, and it's very clear that they shine through above everybody else. You know, you've got Jeffrey Wright as well, making a return, who's absolutely incredible in this as well. They have cast some streamers in here, and I have to say some of them, I won't name and shame, but you know, some of it did remove me from the experience a little bit, just because I think it could come down to direction as well as performance, but they really went for this kind of low energy version, and this is coming for me. It came across as a wee bit mumbled and uninterested, you know, a bit too much like themselves as well.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like there was an actual performance there, and that was the difference. You know, if you look at Aaron Paul's performance, who is a very low-key version of himself in this, you could argue, was he mumbled and uninterested, but there's restraint, and there's inflections, and there's an actual performance in there. You can feel the emotion.
Yeah.
But some of the streamers didn't didn't pull it off for me at moments. Sometimes they did, but it just wasn't consistent. And, you know, it's not their fault. They're not these seasoned voice actors that you have.
Course, yeah.
But, you know,
but
as a unit...
you obviously can't answer this question, Liam, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But why choose them then? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are they there? You've got
I don't know.
A whole industry full of voice actors that could have played these parts.
I think it's a conversation that's worth having, and I suppose it's not. I don't actually mind us having it, because it's not like we've got a massive audience that are going to, you know, come after us. But I think it's an interesting point, because we live in an age where, for example, AI is there, and that's the thing that we don't like about AI, is it kind of removes opportunity. With streamers as well, it feels a little bit like stunt casting, and it's like, yeah, they're voice acting, but that sends a message that anybody can voice act as long as you've got the right connections, and that kind of doesn't sit well with me.
Almost like Dennis Rodman in WCW, like
yeah,
shite at wrestling, but like a big name. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know any of the streamers and stuff that were in it, but it's like, if they've got name and brand power, then, you know, they bring a certain cachet.
Absolutely.
Whatever
certain
you say.
Cachet, yeah.
I mean, to that, but I mean, it's not shitting on these people, because obviously, you know, they've chosen to do this, and that's fine. But it just feels like, as you say, it's almost like it's taking opportunity away from people that have trained and worked a long time to do this.
Yes, I think so. And if there's one genuine criticism you could put towards the whole gaming industry, is how insular it can be with certain opportunities. Of course, you know, I would much. It does trouble me that, you know, the ring of performers you have within video games is so very small that they can become a joke because they're appearing in everything. You know, the Troy Bakerification, the Nolan Norths. You know what I mean? It's like all of that stuff, and it's like this should be rich and varied, and with the amount of games that's coming out there's so much opportunity for like another Ben Starr to be born. You know, where was he a few years ago? And it's just all that happens with that. So and they can become influenced at that point, but it's not just a game thing. It's a wider conversation around where influencers sit and amongst things. However, that being said, with the bad comes the good, and I think as a unit they all do shine. And I think all taken together, all those performances, they are a highlight. They are a highlight. It's just that I think that when you put them against a Laura Bailey and like an Aaron Paul, it does stand out a wee bit in moments. That's really all that I felt at times, but I still largely enjoyed it. It was a highlight for me. And in the end, the big beats in the story here, they hit true. And that's all you want at the end of the day. In the end, I was very satisfied with the story that was told, and I was left wanting more. You know, I did feel like it was a bit of a TV show, you know, and I know that's the the thing with narrative-based episodic storytelling games. You know, the branching decisions just get it over the line as a game. You know, but I do want to see a little bit more player interactions and choices outside of QTEs next time. I don't know how to do that, but it's not like your old Telltale games.
An open world game.
An open world, that's it. Make it all open world. It's not like if you've played something like The Walking Dead, you know, you'll have those moments in between the story beats where you can walk around an environment and look up and observe things and all that, and then you move on to the next part and exit and something happens. It's not like that in Dispatch. It fizzes along. Probably I'd say a breakneck pace compared to the other ones, which is good because you are engaged, and that's to its benefit.
So you don't have that downtime in between. It's just like it moves you from sort of scene to scene quickly then. Right, okay.
Absolutely. And that is definitely a strength of it. I think the downtime comes in the Dispatch sections, and that's probably the weakest part of the whole experience for me personally. So I know some people that have played it and they love the Dispatch sections, but for me it just wasn't as enthralling and engaging as I need to watch this. They're on screen. I'm going to get some revelations. And you love the characters. You just want to see them. You know, you just want to interact with them in the world. And yeah, it's absolutely every part a 9 out of 10 for me. I think it is a must-play game this year. You know, it's genuinely excellent. And it's a story I think you'll be glad you experienced. Everything about it, this game just has vibes for days. They've nailed the aesthetic. They've nailed the soundtrack, everything around it. It's just such a labour of love, you know, and I think you would enjoy it as well, Scott. I really do. And yeah, I do. I think there's enough in there. I think the charm of the characters and the strength of that story will get you, and then the performances, all that stuff, like Aaron Paul in particular, will pull you in. There's just something about it. There's so much heart within this, and I think that's definitely its biggest strength, which really, in a narrative-based game, you know, big tick.
Yeah,
that's what you're going for.
Absolutely.
You know,
but it's interesting, because I thought you would say the opposite.
No, and I have thought about it. I like to think about, would Scott enjoy this, you know? And there is times where I'm like, nah, it's not for him. It feels a bit more like like an indie flick, Liam trap at the end of the day, but this didn't. I think there's genuinely stuff in here that you'll find it really fucking funny at points, and you will find that you'll connect with these characters. Like, I genuinely, it's as good as some of the highlights of Telltale in the past, and yeah, I really do think it's worth getting.
Food for thought.
I would say it feels to me like it's ripe for a January sale, so keep your eyes peeled.
That's maybe an idea. Then is it also, without spoilers, does it end in a way that indicates a season 2?
I believe so, but it also, if they didn't do it, but satisfied with where it ended.
Okay.
So, I think it's definitely, the door's open, but it's also, if they didn't get the opportunity to do it, I think it's like, cool, that can just be told as its own wee thing.
It hit 2 million sales or something like that.
Yeah.
Recently, it feels like it's riding the crest of a wave right now of popularity, showing up in the Game Awards nominations and stuff. We'll obviously talk about, but it feels like it's hitting all the right beats for a season 2, to be honest with you. Like, if you were the makers of that game, I know it's going to take a while to make, but you would be like, look, we're doing it. Like, keep your eyes peeled for it, and we'll let you know when we have something to say more about it. But
yeah,
we've greenlit season 2. Bring out, because like it's all like Critical Role people and stuff like that as well. So, interesting stuff.
It's very well made, and I thoroughly recommend it. I really do. If you're wanting a bit more of a narrative experience,
sometimes you do. Sometimes that's all you need, though. You don't have to have this constant, Ninja Gaiden 4, for example, where you literally cannot put the controller down and not fucking look at it. That's cool. How long would you say it was?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say your playtime could go anywhere between 6 to 8 hours on this in total. The episodes themselves are roughly, if you were blasting it, 45 minutes to an hour. So really it is like nice and neat. Some of the Telltale stuff would go 2 hours, and I just lost interest. But this way, you would get 45 minutes to an hour. It was like you're sitting down to watch a TV show, and it's like, well, maybe I'll binge it. Maybe I won't. And I ended up doing a lot of the binging over the weekend because I had saved up a few episodes for the week before. But this is also something I think that a lot of our listeners who are in the same situation as us, their partners aren't gamers, I think that they would enjoy watching this as well. You know, you're just picking the choices. Granted, the dispatch sections, but with the banter that's happening, you're still engaged and you kind of hear stuff. And that's probably another massive compliment I would give to it. But as we always talk about, you know, a lot of our listeners and ourselves, mainly all the time, or you'll have more regular than not, those weeks where you're strapped for time for gaming.
Yeah.
So something like Dispatch, which is 6 to 8 hours that you can just play through in these bite-sized curated chunks, man, music to my ears.
Perfect for that. Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. I did also start this week, I had picked up Luminous Arise as well. It's trippy as all hell. I mean,
that's a headache kind of game for me. I was watching Mike Minotti from Giant Bomb playing it the other day, and I was just like, I couldn't, like, could not even visualize it.
It is. It's challenging. It's addictive. It's enthralling. Just be careful with your spare time on that one. I've put a few hours into it over the past week, and yeah, it's I don't know. It's trippy as all hell, but I'm loving it. You know, it's just something that's just that one more go quality. Which again, you're in control of how much or how little you want to put in the time for that one. But main event wise this week, since our last episode, which you should go check out, was an interview with Patrick Klepek. Fantastic listener, if I do say so myself, because he was such a fantastic guest. Main event was Black Ops 7, the new Call of Duty game, which I know a lot of our listeners as well, a lot of gamers out there turn up for COD every year, and that's them. They're in and out. And this is just some initial impressions, Scott. But I'm going to start, just with the the much maligned campaign, because I've took the bullet this week. I thought, we'll check it out, see what the fuss is about. Because last year's Black Ops 6 campaign was fantastic. Really was. It was set in the 90s and all that. Absolutely amazing. Nice and tight. Felt like a return to form. Black Ops 7, the campaign isn't great, Scott.
think that's being kind.
It's been kind, yeah. Because I've not finished it, but I've had to put it down because I thought I've had enough of this muck. But think Call of Duty, and they've taken all the parts of Warzone and they've added in all the bullet sponges from Destiny meets Batman Arkham Asylum's Scarecrow. That's kind of where you're at. And you might think that sounds pretty cool. And you're playing it and it's like, this just ain't it. It's just a bit too outlandish. I feel a wee bit let down as playing it because it's supposed to be the sequel to the ethereal Black Ops 2, Scott. This is supposed to be the next sequel to that. And there's just no personality here. There's just sci-fi military cringe. Categorically, I would say now, these near future settings just don't work. And can we please just get them in the bin? It feels like such a misfire after last year's excellent 90s setting. And yes, I'm biased to that. Of course I am, but it had some personality to it.
Even the trailers were interesting. Like, you're seeing, Big Bubba in the trailers, and you're seeing information about like Saddam Hussein and stuff like that was in it, and stuff like that as well. It's like, it's grounded in reality, whereas from what I've seen of this campaign, it's just fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and it's just not there. I know that by the time this podcast I think goes live, the end game mode will be out, if not it's over the weekend, and they're now separating it from the campaign. Listen, I can see what they're going for. They want a PvE type social experience. They want to cater to as many different kind of multiplayer opportunities out there. You want a bit of Warzone, you want zombies, you want multiplayer, you want this with your pals. I do applaud them for that because it's catering to many different audiences, but also just, I don't know, every time they try to venture out,
that's not a campaign though.
It's not a campaign. It's not
a place for a campaign. It's another mode. It's
always
zombies.
Online.
Make zombies that or some bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
Zombies. I mean, I've not touched zombies because I can't stand it. Right. So this is why I'm not giving it an entire review. But with the campaign, it's like you can't even pause it. It's always online.
Yeah.
And it's just this big dead ass map, and it's just not fun to play. Whereas the campaign, it was like a Fast and Furious film. Yeah. It was absolutely balls to the wall. I'm going to play this over a weekend. Usually, a lot of people play it just to get used to the game, and then they're kind of hopping in at a multiplayer before that's the main course. And speaking of which, multiplayer, I think off the back of playing it all week, I'd say it does feel like a step backward from last year. I think Black Ops 6 was the best Call of Duty has been in years, and it feels a little more frustrating in experience overall, and I'll tell you why. It feels very unbalanced. The time to kill feels it can be wonky as all hell, and it just doesn't feel like it should at points. That being said, every now and then that balance swings back way too much, and the matches will suddenly start feeling more engaging and frenetic, and like two teams can actually win. But then there's the ones, Scott, more often than not, it feels like every crust lord on planet Earth who had no life in this game are on the opposing team, and yeah, it just feels like you're in a team of normal people who's like, what the hell are we supposed to do here? But genuinely, and it's not even a skill issue, because I can still carry my own, but I'm in the team where everybody's clearly struggling. It's not fun. And I think this decision to get rid of the SBMM, the skill-based matchmaking, I think the decision to do that is really hurting it. Now you've got an open playlist, so that's got no skill-based matchmaking, and you've got a standard one with the skill-based matchmaking lists. And I do think like the skill-based matchmaking one, it just feels better.
Yeah.
But it's an open mosh pit, so you have less control. It's mental. So the open style is often creating those matches where one team, it just feels like one team's really low ranked versus this prestige crust. That's the only way I can describe it. And they're not fun, and you can feel it in the matches themselves. However,
we felt it in one of the matches the other night. We were playing it, and all the team we were playing against were leaving, and then just some random guy came in, and it just completely changed. It was like, what the fuck? Like, how does one person change the tide of a game like that? It's just, I can't wait to start talking. I can't wait till you hand the reins over on this, because I can't.
The spoiler alert, Scott hates it because he's shite at it, right? But despite my gripes, right, I have found the fun. It's still something I enjoy, because I still love going on with yourself just for the goofy patter. It's the social attraction for me, and all in all, I still had way more fun with this than Battlefield 6, right? Categorically. I'll keep going. I would probably give this Blop 7 campaign a 4, and the multiplayer gets a fitting 7 for me this year. No zombies, because it's trash. And yeah, that's probably as far as I'm going to venture out multiplayer-wise this year, because I was a wee bit tempted in FOMO out in Arc Raiders, but I don't know. I don't think I've got the time in me for that. The good thing is about Black Ops 7 is if I want that fix, I can jump on with you for an hour, get the fix, have a talk shite, and I'm away. That's what I need personally, but teach to them.
I'm with you. It's the social aspect of it that brings me back to it. If I had paid full price for this game, I would have been fucking raging, though. Yeah. Raging. The fact that it's on Game Pass has saved its arse a wee bit for me, because it's free. I mean, in parentheses. For me, you're right. I mean, I don't like the multiplayer because I'm shite at it, and I'm shite at it because it's shite. Like, it doesn't feel good to play. I'm sick of this whole system now, where I'm sick of the upgrade system, unlocking system, and stuff like that with COD. Now that it's just annoying me as I'm going through it. You said about the campaign that it lacks personality, and I think the multiplayer does as well. I think the whole game just lacks something.
It does,
like a bit of grit. It feels too cartoony and too like it's just lacking something for me. I do I like jumping off walls. That's fun. The tiny jump that you can do when you jump off a wall, that's nice, but that's probably as much as you'll get. Killing people with knives isn't as fun as it used to be. Using the small isn't as good as it used to be. And that's what you end up reverting to, because the games are just nonsense at a point. Like, you're spawning in, you see someone spawn fucking 2 feet away from you, and it's like, why are you there? Like, how on this planet did this game decide that that's where you should spawn, directly opposite me? And then they've always got the drop on you. The fact that we were playing it, a few days after it released, and you're looking at people that are Prestige 3, 4 already, is no word for it, Liam, than a fucking disgrace. Like, there's no, I don't care if you don't work, I don't care if anything, if this is your job, there should be no way on this fucking earth that you should be Prestige 4, 5 a few days after release of a Call of Duty. I just don't see it. I can't feel it. I just don't understand it. But I'll stick with it because we play it together. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
That's the fun. That is you have to find the fun in these games.
You do have to find the fun,
thing.
and that's why I do end up knifing people 90% of the time because it's funny for that. But it just makes you want for Black Ops 6 all over again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you know? Honestly, I wouldn't be above it. Like going back to Black Ops 6 because it was that good. I will say though, here some of the finest maps from Black Ops 2 are making a return. And that's a good saving grace.
That's the saving grace for it, but that's also ridiculous as well that we're in 2025 now and we're still resurrecting old maps for COD. Like, you're playing more of these old maps than you are new maps. I think 90% of the time. Which is the reason why it's good.
The solution here, I think, for Call of Duty is simple, which is don't do a big new release every year. To take a year off.
Yeah.
They need to do it. And I think, they had Black Ops 6. They could have added all this stuff from 7, skipped the hassle with the campaign and zombies, and added all these new maps and zombies maps even, and just put them in as a Black Ops 6 big update for year 2. And that would have worked so much better, but you're not giving the game time to breathe, which is odd in this day and age where they want these games to last for years and to monetize them effectively. As COD, it's crammed into such a small space. 12 months isn't really long for these type of games.
You don't really think about it like that. Like, what was the COD 3 years ago?
3 years ago? It's not Modern Warfare 2.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just throwaway.
Forget that in one, I'm impressed.
Disposable vapes of games. Like, it's just smoke them for a bit and then just throw away. I don't want to play this anymore, and then that's you.
No, that's it. We know why we're here, and that's it. It's disposable, but it's still mindless fun, and it's still something that I think a lot of our listeners will probably gravitate towards, and it's like it is just more Call of Duty. That's it. And I'm not going to get, I joke about the Battlefield 6 thing and all that, but it's like, at least you can see people and play a couple of matches, it won't take you an hour. So it probably respects your time a wee bit better. But yeah, there's plenty of options out there between that, Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders just now. Is it something that you ever see yourself dipping towards, Scott?
Arc Raiders? I think the time's come and gone. I think that with these kind of games, you have to be in on the ground floor. Otherwise, you're joining games with fucking nutcases. I've watched people play it, and it just doesn't appeal to me. Like the Dark Zone stuff for the Division, I didn't enjoy it. And my dog's going absolutely ape shit over there. It sounds like I'm sitting next to a fucking pig. I just didn't fully vibe with it, and watching people playing it and stuff, I'm just like, this isn't for me, and that's fine. The FOMO hasn't hit me, so I'm happy to say that I don't think it will. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll move on to, we'll get into some newsy stuff now to talk about for this week. The first thing up was actually something that happened this evening, by good fortune for once it fell before we recorded, which was the Xbox Partner Showcase. Now, it isn't a big breakdown, it's just some highlights there. The first one I want to kick off with, Scott, is one that had fallen to Game Pass, which I know will be featuring in the review very soon, which is this new, I would say, Balatro-inspired game. Christ, what's the name of it?
Clover Pit.
Clover Pit, there we go. Just what a total
It's a slot machine. It's a slot machine game.
Yeah, it's a slot machine meets Balatro in hell. It's I've had a wee go of it, Scott, and it's oh Jesus, man.
I cannot wait.
Man.
I am weak for slot machines, so get me in there.
A gambling slots,
tag me in.
Absolute diabastrous levels of addiction here. If that was on the go, forget about it. But yeah, there was a few things in there. I want to talk about Crowsworn, which was revealed here to come to Game Pass, all consoles and PC. It looks like another Silk Song like. Do we now coin the Silk likes?
Silk like, the Hollow Knight likes.
Night likes.
100%. And I mean, this game looks more like Hollow Knight than Hollow Knight does. Do you know what I mean? Like, this looks like the spiritual successor to Hollow Knight rather than Silk Song.
But halfway through it, I genuinely was like, are they actually going to just announce like a new character for Silk Song? And part of me is like, this is the new trend now, isn't it? Like, we're going to see all these night likes all the time, and
You've seen it. You've seen it already. Games like
yeah,
Nine
yeah.
Souls and stuff like that. It's more stylistic Metroidvania, isn't it? Like,
Are they going to be the new roguelikes?
probably.
Maybe. I mean,
It looked
listen,
cool.
it does look cool. I should add that. It looks cool. I mean, if you wanted more of that in your life, but I need to finish Hollow Knight Silksong first before I even think about anything like that, because it does look hard as balls as well. There was a good few games. I mean, I think all in all, there was 16 games in total that was shown during this partner showcase today. 10 of them are coming to Game Pass Ultimate, which I noticed they specified, which is a little reminder. So if you're wanting it straight away, it's Game Pass Ultimate. They want to squeeze you. The Xbox full screen experience is also coming to PC on the 21st of November. That was the big things at the end. There was some games in here that was cool, Scott. I think the one that let's start at the end here, right? Because this is one that I thought, man, this is a Scott Curry ass game, which is that Tides of Annihilation. It's not the first time we've seen it, but I'm like, man, they just showed a boss fight in its entirety. It did look a little bit rough at points. I don't know if that was because of the stream that I was watching, but it did look impressive. And I've just wrote, Scott must play this.
It did. I'll agree with you. I think it probably was the stream, because there was moments where it would flick into like 60 frames and it was gorgeous. I'm with you, man. I was in on this game when we saw it at first, and then just watching that boss fight, I was like, yeah, this looks like a bit of me. And ridiculous, man. Weird nonsense. What is it set in like the old? Is it set in it's in England, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, all of the stuff will be on Xbox Wire. As you can see, we're totally prepared for this as well.
I mean, yeah, it's
absolute chaotic
nonsense.
nonsense.
Arthurian. I was going to say Arthurian, but I couldn't remember it. Uncover the mystery of an otherworldly invasion in a shattered modern London, unleashing hordes of enemies as Gwendolyn fight alongside spectral knights to save your family and piece the broken world back together. This looked class. As I say, it looked class in the initial trailers, but this boss fight just sold me on this game. And I'm 100% on board.
That's unbelievable. The other big thing that was announced here today, which was Vampire Crawlers, which looks unbelievable. A Vampire Survivor spin-off. I think they probably gave it a bigger name on the trailer. Vampire Crawlers, the turbo wildcard from Vampire Survivors. But yeah, it's basically they've turned it into a deck-based a turn-based deck building roguelike with a 3D first-person perspective. It looks absolutely incredible.
I didn't need this, Liam. I didn't need it. Vampire Survivors is hitting my rotation every day at the moment.
Oh, so good.
It's to have this come out is incredible, and they just continue to create content for this game, this series. Like it's amazing, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're sticking to this. They're sticking to they're sticking to like the daft things about it.
Yeah,
like the trailer. The trailer stays true to what it is, like the garlic and stuff like that. Like I was just like, yeah, it's good, man. They know how good this game is and how good it was. So yeah, I'm interested in this.
Definitely looks fantastic, and yeah, it has every chance to be kind of like the new Minecraft in some regards. You know, the Minecraft for the grown-ups, which is latching onto that humour. The way the trailer opened is it's going to be a big open world thing, and it's just like, psych, it's not really that. Fantastic stuff, man. There was one as well, Zoopunk, I believe is shown off here as well, which has caused a bit of a ripple online in a positive way. Well, basically, at first I thought, is this a Hellboy game? Don't know why. I thought it was Hellboy, and then you see, the protagonist is an actual bunny rabbit. Just mad action animals. Pretty cool third-person hack and slash Dark Souls game it was hinting at. Dark Souls gameplay it's hinting at. Playing as a rabbit, hinting that you might also have this squirrel and a rhino backing you up as well. And it's like animals in this post-apocalyptic setting. Looks absolutely kick-ass. Just coming to Xbox and consoles. No date though. As well.
It seems like it's like a spiritual successor to that Fist. There was a game in the past. I think it was like I want to say it was like a platformer or something like that, or maybe a Metroidvania. I never played it, but it was a rabbit with a big metal arm. Remember trailers for it in the past. And And the minute I saw the gameplay for it, I was like, why is this rabbit has a big metal arm? Is this game? And it is, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it looked cool. 3D action adventure game. And more of these games are necessary. We've got too many, we've got too many Souls-likes. Let's just fucking hack and slash everything. It's class.
Yeah, well, they've seen here in the Xbox Wire, it's actually coming to Xbox Series XS, Xbox and PC, Xbox Cloud in 2027. So maybe this is one that might be kept for potential new Xbox hardware. We shall see. But it was pretty cool reveal trailer. I'm not going to go through everything, just some of the highlights here. Roadside Research was another one that I thought, I've wrote here, this is a Scott game. This is the one where you're playing as an alien working undercover at a rural gas station. With a very terrible paper mask. I don't know why. It just looked like it kind of had Baby Steps-esque humour to it. And I thought, this is something I think Scott will play and absolutely find hilarious, because it did look quite funny, to be fair. As you're basically there trying to not arouse too much suspicion, as it's saying here, to basically make sure you're preparing for the alien invasion.
It just looks like one of those simulator type games, like trading card simulator. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it does. Speaking of like weird games, Hitman, the Eminem versus Slim Shady elusive target free update coming 1st of December. That was a fever dream. More and more Hitman just seems to get weirder and weirder. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme in it? He was in it before, wasn't he?
I think it was,
Did I just make that up? Bruce Lee, I'm pretty sure there was one for that recently.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you had like the Casino Royale stuff with Mads Mikkelsen, El Chiffre, and now Eminem.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
What a rogues gallery for Agent 47 to take on, eh?
That's right. That's true.
If you've ever wanted to live the dream of killing Eminem in various ways, then here is your chance.
Good news for you. There's a few other ones in there, like there's 007 First Light was teased. All it was to show off that Aston Martin Valhalla is coming to it. Bit of a announcement here. There was a sequel to the game Raji, which is announced right at the end, should I say. So that's Raji Caligula, which is coming to Game Pass. They didn't say a day or a date, should I say, which is basically set in ancient India, which is pretty cool to see that Asian influence here. Pretty strong, nice fantasy setting. Looked pretty cool, but again, it was a very strange trailer where it looked like they were just dubbing over unfinished audio with some kind of tense score. But graphics-wise, it looked pretty visually interesting, but not enough there to really react to be fair. It looked pretty cool. Echo Generation 2 as well was coming out, which looks pretty fun as well, coming to Game Pass and PC if you're into kind of more pixel art.
Sounds like the guy from Alan Wake.
Stuff. Yeah, it did actually, yeah, it did. Maybe I'll need to take a wee look into that.
I'll Google it while you're talking about it.
Dave the Diver, it was coming to Xbox and PC, I think it was from today, and there'll be In the Jungle DLC coming as well. And I'm just trying to think if there's something missed.
Matthew Pereira. It is the guy. There was Erosion, had a cool art style. Not 100% sure what it was, but it was cowboy and stuff like that. I thought that looked cool.
Pixel art, cowboy Hades.
Yeah, I liked that. I looked awesome. I also liked the first trailer for Armatis. That looked cool as all hell.
Yeah, it was kind of like Gears meets Souls meets Returnal.
Yeah, Edition 33. 100%. I thought that looked cool.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of cool stuff in there, and I have to admit, it feels like a good time of year to do these little showcases to be like, here's some stuff that's coming to this service from a Game Pass perspective. Xbox really need to crack the whip when it comes to, we've put that price up. It's definitely worth it. We want you to make sure there's stuff there to play. Otherwise, people will do as we've been telling them, which is to just only put the price, only buy it for months when you've got something, and just dip back out. To be fair, that's probably best practice in all subscriptions. But also, let's face it, we're all lazy bastards, and everybody forgets what they're subscribed to half the time. That's what they're relying on. But yeah, no, it was pretty interesting. But all in all, I think it was a pretty standard showcase. Nothing amazing that was kind of like earth-shattering, but at the same time, nothing bad. I think I would actually take quite a lot more of these through the year, if I'm honest. And I appreciate their style, which is, here are the games. That's it. no shite, and probably a good move because their corporate team aren't on good terms with us gamers of late anyway. But I digress. Speaking of not being on good terms with gamers, we also have, over the past week, had the Game Awards nominees being released. Jeff Keighley, of course, kind of doing his thing. He's out of his crypt. He's doing the thing, Scott. Doing the thing, shelling out left, right, and centre.
He's been roused from his slumber.
Yes,
awoken from his casket.
Some sponsorship deals and, taking advantage of talented youngsters. That's getting them out of his bed. I'm only joking, Jeff. I'm only joking. That joke was brought to you by Turnips, and I'm joking. So I think it's big conversation this week. Now, last year we did do the big Game Awards prediction thing. We're not going to do that this year because I think we've got a better main topic up our sleeve. What we do want to do is really just kind of talk at whole who we think the big winners and losers on the night's going to be. And then, of course, Game of the Year itself. But I mean, the headline here is Claire Obscure Expedition 33, leading with 12 nominations.
12 nominations. Record-breaking 12 nominations.
Yep. Having its Return of the King Titanic moment here, Scott. But in terms of the others, Death Stranding, 2 on the Beach, and Ghost of Yoti got 7 each. Hades 2 got 6 nominations, Hollow Knight Silksong with 5, and Split Fiction with 4. I'm going to keep this short, right? I just expect Claire Obscure to win pretty much most of its nominated categories, if I'm honest.
I will put a bet on here. I don't think Ghost of Yoti will win anything.
I'll take that bet, yeah. I
don't think it will win anything. I think Death Stranding will win one thing. Then I think Expedition 33 will just win them all. Every single one of them. I think there has to be a wider conversation about why in 2025 we still care about esports. We're still pretending that esports are important. Like, who the fuck is still playing? I know there's a universe out there. People are playing Counter-Strike and Valorant and all that. But honestly, Liam, who the fuck cares now? Like, just let them. They've decided to go and do their own fucking thing, live in their own hovel. Like, there's an option here for best esports athlete. A fucking athlete, Liam. Like,
well, that's I listen. I'm saying nothing.
Outrageous. I'll say it. It's just stupid. Like, it's just creating nonsense things for this as well. I think there also has to be a wider conversation for some of the options on here as well. Like best fighting game, for example. I'm not going to go into them all, right, but best fighting game has very little in there. Do you know what I mean? Like 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection. It's just the options there are not enough. And but you've got to think what the wider strategy there is. It's not really about the games or categories with esports or fighting. It's about the extending the reach. It's just it's a marketing exercise. You're right. It's just I just think it's just mad. And
it really is. I agree.
We're still like, best mobile game is like something Bang Bang. Like, I think that's been up for it about fucking 5 times in the last 10 years or something. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
I know. I mean, Joe, the thing that's heartbreaking about it is that most of these will just get quick fired out because it's like, and here's the next 5 award winners, and here's 100%. Some shite trailers.
What's her name again? Sydney.
Oh God, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I forget
her something like that. I want to say it is, but I don't think it is. But she'll just be on the other side of it's someone else now.
Oh, that's right. They replaced it at Summer Game Fest. Replaced her. She actually did a really good job.
She did a really good job. Yeah, no, both of them have.
More.
But you're right, and it's a shame. Like I'm a little bit ingest with the esports stuff because it's just not for me. But you're right. They don't ever linger on it. It's not as if they bring an important esports person out to have a 5-minute conversation with us. It's just a throwaway 5 seconds in that shoe, which is sad, but it's true.
This is it, right? The final Daz here to have his say, Scott, right, on the Game Awards, but it's peaked. I think it's peaked at this point, and I think Jeff last year, I think it was right. Fair enough. You've hit that note that you've wanted to. And I'm not saying that he can't get big reveals, he can't get the big deals. Of course he can, but there's just something that feels like the wind is slowly changing. This won't happen instantly. This is going to be a slow rot where people are just going to get really quite hacked off. With a lot of the things that we've been saying as like things that you could just easily fix to make it just appear more like what you're saying it is. So it's the gaming Oscars and all the rest of it. It's like, it's not, it's still the Spike TV Awards. It's still, you know, him sitting next to the big Doritos stand with the Halo stuff on it. It's still like absolute like early noughties to late 90s. You're a gamer, let's just market some shite towards you because you like energy drinks and you like, you know, crisps and all that type of stuff. I'm very cynical on it now. And even though I'm going to watch it, I'll be up late and I'll hate myself and it's going to be way too long and it's not going to be about the awards and you're going to be sitting there for 2.5 hours to finally get to Game of the Year after the orchestra bit, and then you're going to have to sit through the tidal wave of piss because everybody will be upset because Claire Obscure has won everything, and you know you can't please everybody because as gamers we are inherently competitive, which leads to very tribal fan bases, which these award shows, it just feels like it's just gunpowder for having these explosive, nonsensical debates over why my game didn't win over the one that you like. And it's daft, really, because it's just an award. But it doesn't really mean much. You know, it's like all of these games that are nominated and the ones that haven't been, there's been so many fantastic games that have came out this year, and that's the thing to focus on. And what's been a really difficult year for the gaming industry, and I just don't like the fact that this sponsored slop fest, trailer fest, is the crown and glory at the end of it. And you know, I don't want that to kind of leave the taste in the mouth at the end.
That's the reward in it.
Yeah, and there's been so much more to celebrate than what this 20-hour show feels like can do in an evening. And you know, there's so many things coming out about it, like with the first class stuff as well, just before the nominations landed last weekend. It's a fantastic piece in The Guardian. You should go read about that. I don't know. It's just one of those things, but
it's just, you're right, though. More and more seems to be, you know, slipping through the cracks about it, and it's a monopoly at this moment. You know, who else is doing it? You know, you have obviously like golden joysticks, you've got Gamescom, you've got all this other nonsense, but in terms of the one, it's the Game Awards, isn't it?
That is, yeah. And I will say, you know, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is an indie game. There we go. I just chucked a grenade in there. But it's, in terms of me, let's talk about Game of the Year, right? So you've got Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. All nominated, all worthy nominees, you know. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm salty because of the snub of Power Wash Simulator 2. I don't know, Scott, right? It should be here. It should be here. But
maybe they could have made two Game of the Year awards just for that one.
Yeah, that's it. The final day will be on that stage, getting dragged off. Copies of Power Wash Simulator 2.
That guy that came out that was like, what was it? He was making jokes about Bill Clinton, was he not?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, God. There's two Bill Clinton references in this show. Jeez,
there you go, keep it going, Bubba. But who do you think? I mean, Claire Obscure, I think, takes this as easy. It might be an easy question, but is it? You know, there's a lot of really amazing games here that all could win this. I can't speak to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I will be able to one day. That day is not now. But all of them... 2027, baby. It's like all of them, they could win that and they'd be very happy. They're all capable winners. But for me, Claire Obscure, it just feels like it just had different gravy about it. There's something special about it. But what's your pick there, Scott?
Aye, I'm not happy about it, but I am. I loved Claire Obscure. I loved it. I'm not calling it Expedition 33. Fuck that. I loved it, and the fact that it came out so early in the year and we're still talking about it to this moment is testament to the fact that it deserves it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, games have come and gone. Monster Hunter Wilds, nobody's even thinking about that game anymore. But Expedition 33 lingers on in the taint of the world. You know, it's still there. I can't reason with the fact that Donkey Kong Bonanza is in this
mate,
option.
You've not beat it yet.
I've not even barely even fucking played the thing.
Well, there you go.
It's just so ugly.
For fuck's sake.
With Hades 2 as well, like a very good game, but
that's an incredible game. Come on, Scott.
No,
give it a 9 last week.
It is. Give me a fucking minute. Like, but it's just it's just so similar. But like, it's the same with Silksong and stuff. But see if they weren't in it. Like, see if you were to take one or two of those games out, what other games could you have put in? It feels like they are the right 6 games for this list. But if there was other options in there, what could it be? Do you know what I mean?
Dude, that's the difficult thing, because if you were to ask me now what other games came out this year after looking at this, I can't tell you, because my mind has just went a blank.
So what? Blueprints. I'm looking at Metacritic. Blueprints.
That's surprising. That does surprise me. Dispatch came out too late.
Things like the Seance of Blake Manor is getting a lot of fucking hype on that as well. I think it's hit. It's hit what it needs to hit. Do you know what I mean? The Blueprints is probably the biggest shock in terms of, you know, it not being a Game of Year options, but also just how little it's featured in terms of the whole nominees. To be honest with you, I think it's maybe only up for 1 or potentially even 2. Like,
yeah.
The way that people were talking about that game at the beginning of the year, they were literally fucking like, you know, I can't even think of the words that I want to say, but they were on that hype train. But no, I think it's the right nominations for this. I jest about Donkey Kong Bonanza, but they're the right options for the games. But there's only one winner here. There is only one winner here, and it's Expedition 33.
Yeah, I think, you know, out of that 12, I'd be willing to say it walks away with at least 10. At least.
I think it'll walk away with all 12.
Well, here's the thing, right?
I'd be shocked. I lie. I think Death Stranding will win one of them. Like, I think it'll be like a pure throwaway thing. I think it's like best audio design or some bollocks like that. Like, even I would have given Death Stranding best score in music for the music in Death Stranding 2, but it won't. It absolutely won't.
It's not memorable enough. Like the Clear Obscure score.
Woodkid was fucking on another level.
It's different, no man. It's official soundtrack. Talk about an actual score.
No, that was a score.
It's just
it's
like
part of it. Him and Ludwig for sale.
I mean, it wasn't like it was bad, but the Clear Obscure one's instantly one that you will remember after playing it. You're whistling that for donkeys. The Death Stranding one.
I didn't have any. I can't actually remember any of the music for the next, and that's not just. I'm not just being an asshole. I know I have bits, right? I know I am the bit man here, but this is legitimately not a bit. Like I'm being serious. Cannot remember the music from that game at all.
Man, it's a shame. It's but then fair enough. I mean, but then I thought you know all of them. That's a really hard category. Actually, you got Silksong, Hades 2, Ghost of Yoti. It was probably the weaker one in there. Death Stranding 2. Mario Kart World being snubbed is absolutely diabastarous to me, because the music in that game is next level. But that's actually the best thing about the game. And the rest of it I can understand being snubbed, but Hades 2, man, like we all know, like the second boss in particular, like that was music incarnate. Silksong as well, the score was incredible in that. It's a tough competition. I think Death Stranding 2 walks away with best game direction, and it also gets best art direction. Just purely because Yoji Shinkawa, obviously, he absolutely blazed in this game. But best game direction, I think just because Jeff, you know. I do think Clear Obscure should win there, just because it just wasn't weird posing his depth at points. And I love Death Stranding 2, but I think that with any Kojima game, it does overindulge in moments as well, but it did it less so than the first. But there's so many hard like ones in there. It could go either way. It does just depend. But I do think you're right. Like there is a major possibility Clear Obscure just walks away with the headline. Nominated for 12, won or 12. Beat that. Peace out. See you later. Because I don't think you'll see a game like this for a long time, if not ever. You know, in terms of a debut. Like to come out in the world like that and just absolutely just whack it out. Go, there you go. That's it. What are you going to do? We've talked about the nominees, Scott, right? But it is the Game Awards. So let's talk about the main point of the show in Jeff Keighley's eyes, which is trailers. You know, let's think about some light predictions just to cap this off before we go to the main topic, right? But look, the elephant in the room, right? We know right now Jeff Keighley's in a room somewhere with a lock of hair and a voodoo doll trying to sell his soul to the devil to get Half-Life 3 on there. And honestly, right, If it wasn't for that Steam machine, I'd say no chance. But because of that, and I think we're all the same, it's like I think it's going to be there just because of the sheer reach of that event. But I think it'll get announced before the Game Awards. I think the game will be there, but I think it's going to get announced before it.
Aye, I agree. I think that the way that they unveiled the Steam machine is probably the clearest indication as to how they might go ahead and announce Half-Life 3. Just in a random tweet on like a Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Like, here's Half-Life 3. All right, cheers, Gabe. I honestly see you're talking about predictions for this year. I honestly can't even think. Like, I can't even think of what they could do. I feel like last year was a big year. We'll probably get another Onimusha trailer.
Yeah. Of course, that's everywhere.
You'll get another Tekken 8 characters probably. Street Fighter 6 Season 3 or 4, I think it is now. You get an update on that. You'll get more... I don't even know. I can't even think of the games that are coming out in 2026.
I did rack my brains a bit because I thought, right, what has the minerals here to appear? Realistically, I'm with you. No, I think that we're in for it's not going to hit the heights of last year, and that isn't even with Half-Life 3. Because if I'm honest, I'm not the Half-Life guy, and I think it's going to do a lot for the elder gamers out there, people our age that remember it. But I think if you're one of the young gamers, it's like that looks like such a grander game. Like I think the gaming industry's moved on from Half-Life. To be perfectly honest, I think Portal 3 would probably get more excitement. Or get more younger people interested than that, if I'm being quite honest. But I'm not going to say Half-Life 3 isn't a big deal. I'm not stupid. Like that will absolutely dominate the day that it goes. But even if you look at the Steam machine numbers as well, like I don't know, it's just a bit like it has meme hype behind it, Half-Life 3. But I don't think you're going to get anything bigger than that, to be fair, and because it's one of the last big kind of mythical beast announcements out there. But I did have a look to see what it could realistically show. So I thought there's known quantities I think that will be here. I think the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake has a chance. Jurassic World Survivor, I think, is a lock after they dropped a little extra teaser yesterday about that, which is good. And that's just wishful thinking for me because they're still pre-alpha as a wee bit off. But Max Payne remake could also show. If not that, then we think Big Punt, Control 2. One of the two I think has a chance of showing here. Massive Big Punt. You could get a hint at Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Don't see it happening, but that's like the type of stuff that Jeff would absolutely, sell his soul for, quite rightly so. And I suppose, Far Cry 7, maybe something from Software. I'll bugger it. Bloodborne 2, do that. Why not? Let's just go daft.
Announce it at the Game Awards.
Why not? Yeah. I think it's a strange time now.
It feels like this will be an indication as to how. No, but it won't. No, I don't know anything, Liam. I honestly don't have a fucking Scooby. It feels like this could either be what's the word? This is going to be the indicator as to what 2026 is going to look like, and that's the most obvious statement that anyone has ever said, right? But the way that I say that is that we're obviously now on the cusp of Grand Theft Auto 6 having been delayed until November. So people are now going to be thinking about, can they push this out earlier, or do they have to just still go with an announcement later in the year? But it feels like all of these games that were announced and things were pushing themselves out to try and get out before Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So now that they have this time and now that they have this opportunity, are they still there, or is it still going to be this as stacked as 2025 was? This is what we were saying at the beginning of this year, though, is that it looks like a weaker year, and then all of a sudden we've got fucking 1 million games. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Where do they pull all this shit from? But fucking ask me in 2 weeks, and I'll come back with a better answer.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have long to wait. I do think, though, it's It feels like it's going to be a special night for Claire Obscure. In terms of the big announcements, I think you could probably put an easy bet on Half-Life 3. But yeah, find out. If you've got any predictions, I'd love to hear it. Just put it in the comments below. It's the time to speculate. 'Tis the season. Go crazy. Will we get Bloodborne 2? Will we get Knack 3? Let us know. Be keen to find out. But I think we should move on to our main topic, Scott. But first, just a quick message from ourselves.
Hello there. Pixel Parents just got an upgrade.
We've launched a free Patreon packed with bonus shows, deep dives, and one-off specials. No tiers, no fees, just more Pixel Parents for anyone who joins.
Every other month we drop the patch notes, our bonus show where we really geek out and dive deep into the world of gaming.
Then it's Pixel Parents Presents, special one-off celebrating geek and hobby culture, kicking things off with Pixel Pinfalls, a wrestling special.
Join for free at patreon.com/Pixel Parents. No paywall, just extra chaos, nostalgia, and good vibes.
That's patreon.com/Pixel Parents. And back to the show. And we're back. So yeah, it's time for the main topic. A little bit of production magic there, Scott.
I was like,
still getting used to it. Still getting used to it. But yeah, that's our main topic this week, which of course is the Xbox 360. Did they peak? You know, it's been 20 years. Believe it or not, Scott.
Fucking outrageous.
20 calendar years since the Xbox 360 first released. When it was a little bit later here in the UK, a few weeks later, but 20 years ago it came out. And captured the hearts and minds of a generation of gamers, blazed a trail, changed the landscape of console gaming with friends for forever, really. So I thought this week would be a good chance for us to take a wee loving look back at this behemoth. Ask what made it so good, so damn good, Scott. And, you know, did they peak? Can never hit this height again. But I thought, let's go back to the start. I want to start, Scott, with our 360 story. You know, how did you first get a hold of yours? And when did you first get your hands on playing one?
I cannot remember. I cannot remember when I had my first one. I've obviously had it before this point. But the first time I ever bought my own Xbox 360 was at university, Liam. When, if anyone has been a student in Scotland, your very first SAS payment was always a double payment, and it was always the fucking greatest moment ever. And I took that money, walked directly into the local game, and walked out with a glorious Xbox. Ran home, and yeah, it was. What a feeling. Like, that was the first console I bought with my own money, and it felt fucking incredible.
It does, though. It does. I think, did you get a chance to play one before you bought it, like the first time?
I don't remember. I feel like I was more PS3 pilled at that moment. Like,
yeah.
I had an original Xbox, and I fucking hated the thing. I don't know why I had it, but I just remember fucking despising it. And I remember having a PS3, but that was mainly probably because like Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that was on it. But
yeah, of course.
I never really took any consideration for the Xbox until very later on. And it was, as I say, it was when I was a student, and you know, as we'll get into a little bit later as to why that was, but 100% that was when that was, and I loved it. I loved that wee thing.
Yeah, I mean,
still remember it. I still remember bringing it home and being scared to put the plugs in it, having that big fucking brick power unit and stuff like that as well, with the orange light.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I forgot it was a big bad boy, that power unit.
The red, white, and yellow cables and stuff like that. You had to plug in the telly and stuff.
The HD component cables. That was you're taking me back now. I'm with you, man. Like, I think that's why it feels so seminal, particularly for you and I, and for a lot of other people around our age. But I mean, I first played it at my now brother-in-law's, who had the full setup. Right, he had the Samsung telly that you saw with the demo sets in the store. You know, the ones that kind of pointed off towards the bottom. That one. You know, playing with him and his friends during the early gatherings. You know, I would say my now wife. You know, we're still kind of getting to know each other, you know, getting invited up to his sisters and brother-in-laws and all that, and it was good fun. Playing things like Dead or Alive, you know, King Kong, trying out some demos and all that was just absolutely incredible. And I have to say, helped form an early bond just through being geeks. Just really love looking back on that time, which cemented my need for one. So it was time to buy. And I was with you, Scott. It was the first console that I remember buying with my own money. I bought it with the money I earned with my first job at 15. I saved that summer and bought it a few days after my 16th birthday. My God, I'm with you. Just what a feeling it was. Just getting home with Oblivion and Rockstar Table Tennis in hand. And it was genuinely next level, man. Like, it was a wee things like your controller was wireless.
Yeah.
That was fucking mind blowing. Forget the HD graphics, right? Just the fact that it was wireless. It was like, whoa, like, you don't have to plug this in.
Mm-hmm.
And, enter Oblivion, which nearly cost me my standard grade exams at the time. And it just, I don't know, it all felt very new, very fresh, very exciting. Like anything could happen on this machine. It just had a vibe. You just wanted to be there. Suddenly, PlayStation, which was my constant up to that point, wasn't so cool.
Yeah.
And, you chuck in wee things like downloading game demos for the likes like Dead Rising, Bioshock. It was a pure rush. It just felt cutting edge. And, you chuck in the social aspect, as I mentioned, from before I owned it, playing like fighting games and all that and table tennis, to then having your own console with your own copy of table tennis, playing it with my now wife. It was just such a good time, and I think that's really it. I mean, moving into the next part, what does the 360 mean to you, Scott? And to all of us, I suppose.
I'm glad you asked, Liam, because I had prepared a little note or two on this one. And you almost, I thought you were going to steal my point there, but I was going to be absolutely raging about it. But this was quintessentially the online zenith for me. Like, this is where I reached enlightenment with my online gaming habits. And this is what feels like ushered in this where we are now, to be honest with you. PlayStation 3 almost got there. But PlayStation Home was fucking shite.
It really was.
Connection, Wi-Fi, everything running on PlayStation 3 was terrible at that point in time. Whereas the Xbox just, to quote Todd Howard, it just worked. Do you know what I mean? Everything just works. And it felt like when you had it felt like the console of the time. Like, we look at the PlayStation 4, we look at the PlayStation 5 as these are the consoles that we buy everything on. Whereas at that point in time, Xbox 360 was that console. Like, if I was buying a game that was for both consoles, I was getting it on the Xbox. And it done. This is strange to say this about an Xbox, Liam, but it done everything right at the right time. Things like Xbox Live Gold, games with gold as well. Like, if you, there's a Reddit post that shows you the games with gold list since 2013 all the way up to it was discontinued in 2022. And each month, see the games you were getting on this fucking thing. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
games like Assassin's Creed 2. You have things like Super Meat Boy, Crackdown, Dishonored, Gears of War, just to name a small few. Do you know what I mean? And they were all classics, but this is the beginnings of, and the dipping the toe where you can see like a Game Pass coming into consideration.
Yeah.
This is, the slow evolution. This is the Charmander. Do you know what I mean? We're getting to Charizard soon. Even daft wee things like, maybe not gameplay moments, but having an avatar that you would dress on screen. You still have this avatar, and you see it every single time you log into the Xbox. You still have this avatar there, and it's hilarious. The dashboard, like, thinking about how that dashboard looks, I can see it so vividly in my mind.
The
and
blades.
I can hear it. Like, I can hear moving through each one of them. With all the highs of that, though, Liam, there has to be some lows. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to glaze the Xbox 360 because this console felt like it was held together by fucking hopes and dreams at moments. Like, I've never known a console, and this is without, obviously I was online at that moment in time, but not quite as much as I am now, right? But that every single person that I spoke to that had an Xbox had experienced the red ring of death. Like, it was synonymous with this console, and it's like, it almost felt like a badge of honor that you had it. And then You'd send it away to some place in fucking Germany in a random box. It would come back fixed.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I remember I got my Red Ring of Death on the day that Pro Evolution Soccer 2007 came out, and that was pain, Scott. Real pain. Like, first thing in the morning, you're buzzing. I had my cousin with me as well. We're going to just spend the whole day playing it, and then there it was. And it was just that sinking feeling like, oh, what? And, you know, it got sorted out in about a fortnight, wasn't it? But
it's really quick.
A scary time.
Was it like,
it was quite quick.
Where was it you'd send it to?
I think you're right. I think it was somewhere in Germany.
It was somewhere in Germany, but I'm trying to remember where it was. Where in Germany?
Even that was an experience, because I was like, what do I do? Do I take it to a post office? I remember somebody come at the house to collect
the house to pick it up. You'd have to go to like Asda or like Sainsbury's to get like a box.
Aye. Or you could. I always keep the boxes. I had to send it away, and that I was like, I want that back. Didn't give me it back, the bastards. But I mean, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, I glaze a little bit here, because there's, in terms of what it means to us, you know, because totally agree with what you're saying. Is it being that, you know, the seminal console for myself as an adult gamer that introduced me to the online gaming. It kicked off a love of so many franchises as well, that you were able to, you know, it was the first console that I was able to kick off my kind of time in games media with. You know, I got my first review copy on an Xbox 360, and that was a moment, you know, and it's one that I hold dear. I'll always associate it with that time, and it, you know, the social feeling that it gave you. Playing games with others on it was special. Like Gears of War in co-op with my cousin that I had mentioned. That was just like some of the most fun memories I'll ever have playing games. You know, the online gaming parts, Call of Duty with your fine self, Halo 3, things like Guitar Hero, Rock Band. Like,
The Witcher
it was a
2.
console. It benefited from a time where that battle for the living room remembered to bring everybody in.
Yeah.
As opposed to just ourselves. I feel like, you know, it's a little bit more catered to headphones and just one user. And it was a mad time, you know, peripherals absolutely left, right, and centre taking over the living room. You know, we're probably better off without them, to be fair. But I'll forever be nostalgic for it. And it felt punk. You know, that's what I loved. You know, the GTA 4 moment, you know, at E3, was Peter Moore just lifting up his sleeve just to show the GTA 4 logo, and it's like, oh, it's coming there. You know, it's not going to be PlayStation exclusive like it was with the 3D trilogy. You know, Halo, of course. The Halo 3 moment was unbelievable. BioShock, Mass Effect. It just felt like every single few months the 360 was doing something to break the status quo. You mentioned Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah.
But, you know, ultimately it represents adolescence for me. You know, it was my console I played during those awkward, exciting years as an older teenager. The thing you come back to after a day of often quite painful work. And it was my first year. I had this when I was at school, high school, towards the end of it, but it was mine. You know, I earned it. I felt for the first time in my life in control to explore my gaming interests. And that's always going to be special. Even though I would end up using said wages to purchase a, you know, big chunky bad boy Spider-Man right in PS3, the 360 was always home. You know, that was the one that you'd always come back to. And I'll rhyme off a few things for you here, right? Because what I was going to ask was about games and memories, right? We talked about Red Ring of Death, but I'm just going to just spit a few bars at you, Scott, just to see the reaction, right? Because I think this sums it up. Gears of War, Oblivion, Mass Effect, Halo 3, Geometry Wars, Dead Rising, Viva Pinata, Fable 2, Crackdown, Doritos Crash Course, you know, the pivot to FIFA in 2008 with FIFA 09, Fallout 3, Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption, GTA 4 and 5, Tomb Raider reboot in 2013, Batman Arkham Asylum and City, Assassin's Creed 1 all the way through to Revelations, Far Cry 3, Call of Duty 4 onwards, Dishonored, Portal 2, Street Fighter 4, The Walking Dead, Limbo, Borderlands 1 and 2, Battlefield Bad Company, Rainbow Six, Vegas, The Witcher 2, to name but a few, Scott. And that's not to mention your favourite, which is Kinect Star Wars. So, I mean, so many memories.
Oh, incredible. God, what a console, honestly.
It's unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable. go back to that in a heartbeat, and that's because I'm an old bastard. Like
Yeah.
everyone will have their console. For the next generation, it would have been the PS4. They
Mm-hmm.
feel the same way about that, but this was ours. I think that one is so important. And yeah, they end up getting outsold in the end. It's still the maddest stat to me is that the PS3 outsold it in the end, but it doesn't feel that way.
Nah.
Still to this day, still when that generation, like 360 was the winner.
Give it its credit. It's the most successful Xbox, like
Well,
80
that's it.
80+ million or something like that. So
Absolutely. I mean, it popularised the online gaming thing.
yeah.
Most popular Xbox.
Yep.
Xbox Live had that allure. It got the concept over so easily. Even selling the wee wireless dongle and all that's mental. All these wee things that you could get.
Stupid things you have to do. The
I know.
headset that you plug, the microphone that you'd plug into the controller and stuff like
Yes.
that as well for it to work. And you had to have that attachment into it. So it was like the thing that went in and it had the 2 buttons on the side and the dongle underneath. Fucking honest to God. What a monopoly.
It's
They would
funny
run
just
on you.
looking back on it, isn't it? Like the stuff that was just
Initially, you
phenomenal.
didn't have battery packs for the controller, so you had to use actual batteries.
Aye, exactly. Then they did the plain charge kit where you could eventually do it, but
Yeah.
it was a time where everything was still accessorized, to the umpteenth degree. I remember stupidly buying a keyboard for the bottom of the 360 controller. I think I used it twice. I'm like, this
Why
is
not?
pure shite. But you've
Just
seen
to
my
send-
hands.
Just to
Honest to
send
God.
people hate mail on Xbox Live.
It was the equivalent of trying to type an essay with your knee on a keyboard. That's what it felt like with my thumbs on it. I was like, nope, this is not going to work. I bought the wee wireless headset, the one that just went over your ear.
Yep.
And used it once. This is genuinely terrible. And that, like it says, you've got your own disposable income, so it's like they just sat there gathering dust. In fact, I'd recently found it when I was moving house earlier this year when I was clearing out the garage, and I was like, oh, there it is, in the bin with it. Couldn't quite throw it out back then, but definitely could now. But I don't know. I think for me, I don't think I'm here just now talking to you without the 360. I think opened that door to more games. It took me out the PlayStation ecosystem as my main for a wee bit, which was helpful. But in terms of the future, you mentioned it, Scott. Like, it was the most successful Xbox. Did they peak there? Can they ever do it again? That's the question.
Did they peak? I'll answer that one. I think all the evidence points to yes, like 100%. I don't think you could look at it in any other way. The fact that just sales point of view. But I think the fact that Xbox have changed everything about what they are now. Like, they were at the forefront of everything at that point, and now it feels like they're reacting to things in a different way. You talk about, it being a different ball game. Like they're playing a different ball game. This isn't even a different ball game. This is a different fucking game altogether. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we were playing football, they're playing fucking tennis. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just what they're doing now. You were talking about exclusives and stuff like that. They're probably less important more than ever. Halo coming to PlayStation 5, Gears of War coming to PlayStation 5 later in the year. So it's like they no longer have this home just on Xbox, and it's no longer valuable for that. The switch to everything now being an Xbox is that they've abandoned this aspect. No, fucking Xbox fans will come at me, but they've abandoned the console generations now. Like, they've abandoned the whole concept of a console, where Xbox cloud gaming is now the thing. Play anywhere is huge. And they're trying. I say they were at the forefront of things in terms of console in the Xbox 360 era, but they're at the forefront of something else at the moment, and it's whether or not that pays off is a difficult question to answer. I don't even want to try and answer it, but yeah, they peaked at the Xbox 360 era. The Xbox One, Xbox One S, absolute fucking dog shit. Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X, verging on it's better, but it's verging on the same problem. And yeah, fuck knows. I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm with you. I agree. I think they did peak then because it was such a moment in time. It was lightning in a bottle for them.
Mm-hmm.
The industry, they were trailblazing at the time. It's changed so much, and it's shifted. They're just not punk anymore.
No.
It was back in a time where you could have been on top by being punk. Now you'd be on top by being, trap grime, and that's just not what they are. It's like gamers, as I mentioned earlier, they're contrarian by nature. They actually mob at heart. You don't lead your pack by spending your way to our hearts. And that's what I'll come back to with the whole, if they try to do that just now, we'll see right through it. We do like to be contrarian, and they're not offering. You need to offer something new to gamers that doesn't come at the expense of ourselves or others, because we love to actually the living daylights out of them all the time, and them spending their way to win us back. It's just not working, and Game Pass is great, but greed has dented it. They've got the power, but they don't have the games, and the ones that they do have, they're slowly fudging. The games that they could have, their greed is stunned. Their greed, I'd say, stunted the domino effect that they spent so long time and money to build up, Perfect Dark and all that.
Yeah.
And, I do see them being everywhere, but I don't see them being on top. And I think never again hitting the heights of that 360 generation, because it's just now, it's a bit like asking, can somebody knock Apple and Samsung off the top of the mobile phone game? There's just some monoliths there that just will not go. And then by the same token, it's not like I see Xbox going anywhere. They'll just be very different, and again, come back to that music analogy. It's a bit like asking, can punk rock and emo get to the top of the charts again? No, because time's moved on. Gaming is different. But if you were there, you'll always appreciate just how good it felt being in that moment. That's what I would kind of close on my thoughts on the Xbox 360 as it turns 20. It was a blast at the time, and I'm glad that I got to live through it. And it will never ever happen again.
No.
That's basically it.
It really won't. It really won't. Just that that run, it's
legendary.
It's a Roman Reigns bloodline run that it will never be topped.
And we acknowledge it. But on that note, I think it's time for us to move on, Scott. That does mean that it's time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on in the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. The last week's theme, probably better this week, was Best Xbox Exclusive Game, with Crackdown becoming the latest addition to the list. Hey, we're anything but not organised. And in this week's showdown, we are debating what the best Nintendo exclusive game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. Now, as always, last week's winner goes last. What was it, tie last week, or was it me?
You won.
Who was it?
Fucking loser. Absolute loser.
I will go last. So let's get to it, Scott. Let's have at it. It's a chance to right some wrongs with some Nintendo games to get them on this list. Think of it as a freebie. Probably the hardest one we've got to do. But on you go.
Absolutely not, Liam. This is probably the easiest decision that I was going to have to make ever. Mm-hmm. My honourable mention for this week is a game that I will fight to the death for more than anyone else, I think, on the entire planet. Liam.
Okay.
A game that released in 2006, published, developed, and released by Nintendo for the GameCube and the Nintendo Wii. I want to have a conversation about The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Okay.
The greatest game in the Zelda franchise, and I'll hear nothing else about it.
Okay.
I don't want to get into too much of a conversation because it's not my choice, but at any opportunity I can have to bring up Twilight Princess, I bloody will. Until that game is re-released, remade, whatever the hell they want to do with it, I will bring it up at every single goddamn opportunity because it's fucking amazing. It is so fucking good. And I just want to love that game forever. But no, the choice for this week, actually, it shocked me, Liam. And the reason why it shocked me is that it wasn't on the list already, which is an absolute disgrace. When I say the name of this game, you're going to be disgusted with ourselves. This was a foray into the Super Nintendo for a beloved franchise, into a brand new land, new characters, new abilities, and became an all-time bestseller. It features a set of brothers, Liam.
Yes.
A set of brothers who meet a lovable new companion, a green little dinosaur named Yoshi, for the very first time. And not only a green one, they meet a hell of a lot more Yoshi than that. Let's have a conversation about Super Mario World and it being the best Nintendo exclusive game of all time. Now, if this was another Lifetime where we hadn't already put Super Mario Bros. 3 on this list,
of course,
it would be Super Mario Bros. 3. But I would go out on a limb here, Liam, and quite happily admit for my own details here that I am. If Super Mario Bros. 3 is my number one Mario game, Super Mario World is probably number 2. I love the gameplay of it. I love the cape. I love the music. I can still hear the Star theme in my head. I can hear Bowser's Castle theme in my sleep. I love this game. And I remember I used to run home from school pretty much every single day and play it with my brother. And I can remember it so much. That and the Lost Vikings, that and the Lost Vikings and the Super Nintendo. Fucking classic games.
Yes.
Super Mario World was an absolute phenomenon, man. Like, just looking at it, and even then, if you released this today, didn't change any of the gameplay, didn't change anything, just said, yeah, we're re-releasing Super Mario World, you wouldn't have to change a bloody thing about it. It handles still to this day better than anything else. So much so that it's partly probably one of the more popular uses in Super Mario Maker 1 and 2. It's the skin for Super Mario Maker 1 and 2. You're seeing more and more challenge levels on that. It has it has everything, man. Like, it's just a complete fucking dream of a game. And there is absolutely no way it's not on this list. I hate the fact that it's not on this list, Liam, and that's the reason why I'm bringing it up. So yeah, that's my decision for this week.
Good pick. I mean, you're right. There's so many. We could easily pick honourable mentions and picks, and you'd have 4 very worthwhile picks, additions to this list, easily. Because there's other ones that I need to try and right wrongs as well. But even just by mentioning them, that's all we need. So my honourable mention this week, Scott, goes to Pokemon Red and Blue. I think, listen, what a game. You talk about,
it was going to be my pick. It was going to be my pick, but yeah.
You talk about iconic, Scott. I mean, this was the game for a lot of folk our age, especially as kids. Even to adults now, there's people now that we know that would be quite happily, if they put that up on Nintendo Switch Online and GameCube, they would sit and play the living daylights out of it.
Yeah.
Hundreds upon hundreds of hours spent. One of the first games I can really remember playing all the way past completion, getting all 151, and then sitting in the back garden and making that decision to start a game. The gravitas of that, Scott, to hit new game. All that hustling, all the trade links, everything, even just to get Mew, it was all gone. And it was great because I would play not only just that was my Pokemon Red. I'd then get Pokemon Blue and complete it. And then the Pokemon Yellow, a few years later, I would just keep playing and completing this damn game because it was so good. And it was, yes, baby's first JRPG. Amazing though. So iconic, everything about it. Albeit basic, but I'm not going to count that in that here, because I think they're all fantastic.
Have to start somewhere though.
Exactly. And I'll flash forward to my pick, because Pokemon Red Blue, I could have made that my pick, but I thought, coin flip, but my pick this week was one that I felt I had to put on there because it's been something I've been enjoying with my son of late, so I'm probably a little bit more swayed. And it's a game that, whilst it's not my favourite one in the series, I've picked it because I need to give props to the OG, and it's not on the list. Of course, that's Super Mario Galaxy. I still prefer Galaxy 2. I think Galaxy 2 is the better overall game to play. But like I said, it's here, all thanks because of that one in that series, which is the Galaxy series in itself just took things. And that sensation of playing Galaxy for the first time is one of just absolute wonder and joy. And actually getting to see and experience that with my son, who we've played all the Mario games together. The one that hit different for him was Galaxy. And that's probably because, let's face it, you know, these kids these days, they didn't have to go through the 3D, the 2D sprites and all that. So I get it, you know, it's a little bit more, you know, of a sensory impressive experience, you know, with the orchestral music and everything. But it was genuinely special, the game, and I just wanted to at least mention it of being worthy to go on the list this week, Scott, because this is a hard one, because all 4 of these picks, any one of them could and arguably should take it.
I'm loving the fact that you're saying 4 of these picks. I do appreciate you still throwing in.
Of course. Twilight Princess. Listen, Twilight Princess is an absolute, you know, 10 out of 10 experience. It's just not up there with the best of Scott. That's all it is. But you're talking about this, the pantheon of all these Nintendo games is that they are all 10s.
Mm-hmm.
I've just picked 4 10s off the back of it. Now we've got the horrible decision of which one is going on now. But which one of these will I want to fight another day, Scott? You know, is it Super Mario Galaxy or is it Super Mario World?
I don't want to live in a world where I don't know. I can't decide, Liam. I love Super Mario Galaxy, but I honestly, I'd love World. I love Super Mario World so much.
In the spirit,
I can't gun this down. It's like that Wesley Snipes meme where he's just like crying, shooting the person. I just can't do it. You're going to have to pull the trigger on this.
In the spirit of using one's logic against oneself, the way that I have not picked Galaxy 2 here, because I need to give props to the OG, I'm going to do that here with Super Mario World. I think we put that in as the best Nintendo exclusive game because it is an absolute all-timer. Absolutely adore Super Mario World, but I've picked Super Mario Galaxy for nefarious means because I saw the childlike wonder moment there with my son, but there'd be no Galaxy without World. And, you know, I think, yeah, it's a must-play game. Must play. And if this is something that we pass on to the next generation of gamers, and if they're going to get seduced by 3D graphics and orchestral scores, it's like, well, let's just go back a step. Let's go back a step and remember your elders. Remember the ones that got us here, because Super Mario World is an absolute all-timer. So yeah, I'm very happy to have that on the list here, Scott.
All the secrets, everything else. I also didn't realise, Liam, and I don't know, all the Koopa lings are in Super Mario World, correct? I didn't realise they were all named after famous musicians.
I didn't know
Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh, yeah.
Ludwig van Beethoven. There's other ones. What is it? The Koopalings. Let's Google the names, because it was it shocked me, Liam. Shocked me to my very core. What is it? Iggy Pop, Roy Orbison, Ludwig van Beethoven. Wendy is someone else. What is it? Origins. Give me a minute. I'll be able to find it. Wendy O. Williams. Ludwig von Koopa after Ludwig van Beethoven. Morton was named after Morton Downey Jr. Lemmy was named after Lemmy Motorhead. Iggy Pop. Larry Mullen Jr. of U2. Though Davy Brooks later stated the name was chosen because he looked like a Larry. But it's just, I didn't realise this, Liam. I didn't realise it, and then all of a sudden it was I was listening to a podcast and they said it, and I was like, what?
That's excellent trivia. I love that stuff. Love that.
Go.
Would never have known at the time because I'm just a daft kid playing it. But yeah, I think congratulations are in order for Super Mario World. You are the next addition to the Pixel Picks list as our best Nintendo exclusive game. A worthy winner, I would say, as well, Scott. So definitely props to that. But that brings us to the end of this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us. And remember to support small independent games media out there. So if you like what you hear and you enjoyed the podcast, please follow us on social media, tell your friends about us, or leave us a wee 5-star review. Whatever you do, it makes a massive difference and helps us out. So please remember to do that and join our free Patreon community at patreon.com/pixelparents to support the show. And on that note, Scott, it's test time. So where can people follow your fine self if they wish to discuss your love for musicians' names?
I am available at lamaman.bsky.social. Come and say hello. Come and say hello to me on Patreon and all that shit as well if you want. I'll put a video up there tomorrow, so come and say hi.
That's it.
Tomorrow, even though you're listening to this the day after. I done it yesterday. There you are.
Yeah. And come say hello to myself as well on Blue Sky. I am at carmelite.bsky.social. I'm going to try to be on there a little bit more. I'm finding myself in tortoise mode, just going back into the shell. It can be difficult. I admire people that can really promote themselves a lot more and just engage in conversations. A, I don't have time, but B, it's also just very, very difficult. I don't know why, because it's the fear of rejection, which happens all too often on that, where you do put yourself out to comment and then it's like ignored. It's like, okay, I was kind of hoping for more of an open discussion. But yeah, come say hello. Let's talk about some games. And of course, a massive thank you to our producer and music man, the talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. So please go show him some love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can listen to the next episodes on all major podcast platforms and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. And of course, write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. But wherever you are, please like, share, subscribe, and play the damn games. Just do that. That's all we ask. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane. Thanks for listening.
How good were golden nuggets?
Oh, man, that was a fine cereal. Fine cereal. Would you feed it to the kids?
They taste yeehaw.